To the Supreme God, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones, we humbly invoke for your divine guidance, divine love, divine blessings, for illumination, for divine oneness, divine bliss, divine health, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith. Okay, much awaited. Today we will talk about food and anything that we consume. Majorly food. We have spoken about sense organs, we've spoken about the eyes, consumption through the eyes and nose and all of those kinds of things. But then the way consumption through the mouth is very different. Is there is a story, I think Shiva, with respect to Shiva, I think, where he decided to check. I'm not sure whether it was Shiva. Okay, somebody, but some god. He decided to find out if all the five sense organs are so equally working. So can we replace one sense organ with the other? For example, let's say if you are if you want food and you're hungry, can you eat with your eyes and be okay? And they realize that how much ever you see, you go to, let's say, a hotel, or you go to your kitchen and then you consume all that food through your eyes, but still you won't be, it won't satisfy you. So consumption through the mouth is a very different process. And there is a lot of vayus that are involved in this process. So when you consume your food, and that food being digested and all of those things requires a lot of pranvayu, apanvayu, and all of those vayus that are necessary. And like we've spoken in the previous classes also, that it is not like when we want to eat food or when we feel like eating food, we can eat that food. So many people who are sick, they also want to eat that food, but they can't eat that food for various reasons. Let's say the body is not okay, or something is wrong, and they're not able to eat. Or there is food, but their mind is not okay, and they are not able to get that full, complete satisfaction of that food. Right from the process of you, let's say, having that food, consuming that food, chewing that food, to swallowing the food, and then the food digesting in the right proportion, and then that getting assimilated into the body, into the blood. And it's such an amazing process that all the food that we eat, when we may eat some pile, right, all mixed together, we may eat that pile, but we are still alive because there is some divine intervention that actually happens for the body to convert whatever we eat into blood. And there is some form of filtration. Like if you use a juicer, when you put things into the juicer, the juice separates and the fiber separates. Okay, we can understand that sort of, that small logic we can understand. But then if you have a process where the simple salts, simple sugars from any kind of food are put into the body in the form of some form or shape or whatever it is, the body has this amazing divine capacity to separate things into waste material and something that get absorbed. And then even after it goes into the blood in the form of nutrition, there is oxygen inside the blood and there are various other things inside the blood. And then it takes it to all the parts of the body. And then each body part has that intelligence to take whatever it needs from the blood. Now, do you think we are in control of all of these things? We are absolutely not in control, which is exactly why we don't know how these things work. We just put things inside the mouth, and later on we hope that everything goes well. That's all we can do about it. So it means, and in the past, I think I've spoken about a lot of devatas and all of those things. So what is exactly happening in our body. When we say we are an instrument of God, this instrument is actually like this instrument is more to do, you can see this instrument more as God's vehicle. Okay. And this God's vehicle, while the God is actually traveling in this vehicle, there are different kinds of entities or different kinds of devatas who are basically serving that God. Okay, when we talk about serving God, we may probably do puja, we may do something or the other, we may do chanting. Some that is to some extent we are unable to understand that. Okay, yeah, to my level of consciousness, I can do that. But then who is actually doing all of these things? So which means, and what are these people in the other dimensions doing? What are these devatas actually doing? So they also service God, because everybody is in the process of evolution, right? Everybody wants moksha, right from an atom, right from, let's say, a tree's atom to an animal's atom to, let's say, our atom, to every single. See, if, they say that even there are parts in our body, let's say people have cancers or something like that, so there are cells and atoms inside that cancer tumor also, right? So every part of that is also undergoing karma, every part of that is also undergoing transformation, and it wants a, let's say, a moksha kind of thing, because every entity has its own direction or the path to take. And everything is being controlled by God only, but God as such is not doing the actions like this, like when we cut, chop, or do something like that, he is actually not doing the actions, but he has rather his energy flows through various different kind of devatas. They do the action. For example, let's say there is a principal. That principal, uh, he's the principal of the college or something, or school. And then what does he have? He may have admins, staff who maybe help in management of the school stuff. Then there may also be teachers, and among the teachers also there is a head, what is that called, head teacher, what a person who basically manages some teachers, somebody like a technical lead, okay, who is like a um not exactly a HM, but somebody like a senior teacher, and not headmistress. I'm talking
HOD,
about senior teacher.
HOD.
She is like the head who controls, let's say, all the primary school teachers. And then there is one teacher who controls all the middle school teachers. There is one more lady who controls somebody like that. Okay, some and let's say you want to go and meet. At least this is what used to happen in my daughter's school, so I'm able to relate to that. So, and there are maybe some people who are taking care of ayas and not even HOD. So there are people some who are taking care of ayas. There are people who are taking care of, let's say, administration work, library. Now, everything comes under the purview of the principal only. He is the one who's taking care of everything in the school, including, let's say, if some construction has to happen, there will be somebody who will be assigned by the principal to be able to oversee that work, maybe talk to some civil contractor, get that done. HM herself is not doing that. Rather, principal herself is not doing that. She is basically outsourcing all these things to somebody else. Similarly, God himself, when we say God is doing everything, God is controlling everything, this, that, God himself is physically, or he is not involved in the action, although at a higher level you can call him the person who is a doer, which is what Bhagavad Gita also says, that he is the doer. But he he at a, like, you can say that who is running the school? Our principal is running the school. But is she actually physically managing all the tasks? No, she's not physically managing all the tasks, and neither is she physically asking people, did you do this? Did you do that? She's not actually doing that. But imagine that the HM was so powerful that she was able to understand everybody because she flows through everybody. She doesn't have to ask because she knows, because she flows in everybody and everybody functions because of her kind of thing, because of her energy. So it's more like that. God is more like that. So there are all of these jivatmas like us. Like us, there are lots of these Jivatmas who have evolved beyond us. So you may have seen so many saints. You may see so many saints, right? You may have seen, let's say, people like who many enlightened people, all of that, right? Like Ramana Maharshi or somebody, all of those levels people also, they have evolved to some stage. Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramamsa, whoever higher level people I'm talking about, they have evolved to a higher level basically because of their work that was involved in the process of managing this karma, which means they have their sattvikta has actually improved a lot. So the growth the growth curve from one point or from wherever we are to a higher level is more because of the sattva that actually becomes more and more within us. So like this, there are lots of people who are above us. So they also are doing so much of work. So there is nobody who is actually not doing any work. Everybody does work. They are having different work at their level. So if somebody is managing us because we are not at all in awareness, somebody else is managing our activities. At some point, it is like they are taking care of a baby. Like all of them are like taking care of a baby like us. Because we are not in awareness, like a baby still doesn't know that she should not be going towards electricity. She doesn't know if she has to eat on her own, how to eat on her own. All of that the baby doesn't know. So they are taking care of us like babies. And although we look like babies or all, because of lack of awareness and all that, but we are also treated with knowledge. We are given all these opportunities, all of those things. So like that, even we will evolve. We will evolve to become a Vivekananda. We will evolve to become a Ramana Maharshi. We will evolve to become, let's say, some Swamiji. All of that, we will evolve to become like that. So, which means there will also be somebody who has not been as evolved as who we are. They are also in the chain of growth. See, at some point, if somebody is going to moksha, like they are going off chart because they have already done their stuff and they are now in a place where they are, maybe I don't know what they do. They are, let's say, finished their journey. Like for example, Brahma, after Brahma's let's say, uh, Brahma's ayu or his life is called one kalpa, right? It's called one kalpa, it seems, which means his 100 years is called one kalpa. And his 100 years is something more years for people who are under. And their number of years are actually, let's say if they are 100, for us it is, let's say, 1,000. Something like, for example, how to relate to that means, if you think about, let's say this flies that come after after it rains, those flies just live for a day. They come and then they are around the place where there is light and they die. Their one lifetime is probably few hours in our life, something like that. So Brahma's period is different. So like that, what I'm trying to tell is there are different beings who work on this body to make things happen. Are they working for us? They are not working for us. They are working for the God within us. Okay, that concept has to be very clear. Nobody is working for us, because if I wanted to live and the period of my breath is over, then they should give me more breaths because I want to live. If they are working for me, they should listen to me, no? So none of them are working for me. They are working on their job that they have been given as per whatever is the direction that they get from the higher authorities. From God at some point, it will circulate down. Even when we were talking about divine design, there were these hierarchies that were mentioned, but from God itself, that they had mentioned. So what I'm trying to tell is there will always be somebody who's working on us to make this body function, to make this mind function, to make the eyes function, ears function, nose function. But why is it that sometimes we can't, some of these things don't function properly? It is because this jiva who is basically like me, I am the, as of now, sort of like a owner of this body, although they are doing the work at a backstage, they are working backstage. Like in a drama, there are so many people who work backstage, but people recognize only the heroine, hero, and all of that. Something like that. I'm the hero or heroine of this drama. And it's not, nothing is there in my control because they are working for God. Some task has been assigned to them. They are working. For example, if I have some karmas to burn because of my various past life, whatever, in different bodies, they will give me those experiences accordingly. And there will always be somebody else who's bringing the experiences. And they will make the eyes function only that much. For example, I may be wearing glasses because my possibly my way of looking at truth might be different. Or we can always say, oh yeah, I have reached 40 plus, we'll get glasses. But there will always be some karma associated behind that. I may not be able to pinpoint what that is. So every person goes through this journey, although we get equal opportunities to get knowledge. We get the knowledge, and from inside, the knowledge says, do this, follow this is the right thing. But many times we don't follow. We go through that habit. So, but you should think that even that also is given by God only. Not following is also be given by God only. Why? Because our ego is not ready to bend yet. It's not ready to surrender. So he'll make us go on that path of difficulty just so that we learn the right way. Because if we are constantly given spoon fed everything, we may not realize the value. Because see, tomorrow, if you have to become Brahma, or if you have to become, let's say, some Surya, you have to take, these are all roles, okay? These are all roles. Somebody will occupy that role. Some Jivatma will occupy that role based on his merits that he has done in all his past. Because he has earned that thing. If somebody has become that head of all the teachers, primary school teachers, because she has earned that position. She has been in the school, maybe working hard and shown leadership skills and all of that. Like, how do people get promotions? How do people get promoted from one post to another higher post? From a developer, they become a technical lead. From a technical lead, let's say they become a project manager. From a project manager, they become an application head. And then they become a practice head. And then they probably will become a delivery lead at a probably a regional level. So like this, people just keep going higher and higher, no? Like that, even we will go higher. So the crux of this whole thing is everybody is working for God only. And inside everybody, it is God's prerana. It is God's motivation. It's actually, what is prerana? Prerana, I think it's not quite motivation. It's more of encouragement kind of thing. Inspiration, inspiring thought sort of thing. God motivates us to basically do some positive things, go towards sattva. He's always trying to do that. He's always trying to take people forward in that journey. We may have any different kind of natures. We may have already finished one pralaya. We may have actually come back again, released again like fishes into the samsaram. Again, we've started from wherever we left off. Okay, that's what Bhagavad Gita says. We just start off from where we left off. And we may probably have done so many lifetimes also like this. But the focus is to move towards sattva. And what is sattva? It is that goodness, that innate goodness, the authenticity that we carry in our life. So what about when we do bad things? Okay, when we are doing good things, we are basically doing it for God. We have that logical feeling that, oh yeah, I can do this for God. I'm doing this for God, for God's love, or whatever we can think like that. But what about all the bad things that we do? We may be killing somebody. There are people who kill people. There are people probably, I may probably not eat the right foods. And I may say, yeah, I'll offer this also to God. But somewhere inside your head, you'll say, no, no, I can't offer this to God. Like there are so many people who eat non-veg, but then they don't prepare non-veg on a festival day. Why? Because they know that I cannot offer non-vegetarian food to my deity. They know. They think that I eat it for me on other days, but on the day of the puja, I'll offer something vegetarian or some fruits or something to God and let God eat that. But what about other days? He's only eating the other days also. He's only within us who is consuming all of these things. Like I said, there are so many people who are involved serving God, and we are just in witness mode, supposed to, our karma is just based on how this instrument functions, mind, body, however it functions. We are not doing any work. We are just involved in seeing our own involve. It's like we have a delusion that I am doing everything, and that delusion itself makes us feel and goes through karma and all of those things. Technically, somebody else is working, but then we see that, oh, I am only working, I am only working, and then the karma cycle happens like that for us. Over a period of time, we'll actually be involved in doing many of these things because we have already come to that state of awareness that God is everything and all of that. So the whole thing that we are doing in this journey of evolution is basically moving towards a higher and higher sattva state. We have rajas also, we have tamas also. So the sattva component has to be higher and higher, higher. And they say that Brahma, who is the highest, let's say after God, who is the first person who did creation and all of, his role is creation and all of that. It's a role. Okay, somebody went into that role. And that position, whoever occupied that position, he has the highest sattva. And there is, because he's also made in Prakriti. I told in the first few classes that in Prakriti, we are made up of three gunas, which is sattva, rajas, and tamas. He also has rajas and tamas, but it apparently is so minimal that it is very insignificant and it doesn't function also. It is so insignificant. But because it's like a naam ka vaste, right? Like how jokers are there in punch of cards. Something like that. It is present, but it has no significance on its own because it can't work. That guna is so less, like 0.000000001% kind of thing, that it is so less that it can't even function. So like that, as you keep coming down, whatever are the devatas under it, it will just go like that. Anyway, so even we will go, that is our direction of evolution. Okay, so you should remember that whether you like it or no, that is where you will be going. And we are getting a practice of thinking that God is the doer and he is the one who's taking care of us. And how do you interpret many of the actions that we do? Like I said, when you do good, think that I am doing this for God, God is working through me, and we are doing, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But what about all the bad things that we were talking about, right? These come where we'll have to learn to sacrifice. You can't say that, oh God, I'm doing this for you. Instead, God is working through me, definitely, even in those bad things. But we have to understand what is actually happening in these activities when we do bad. Why is God making me, why is God doing these bad things through me? So when we get that awareness, when we get that knowledge, then we should say, okay, I don't wish to do that. And then what do? We typically try to focus on other sattvic activities, and then we take our intention back to the other positive things, and then we again see. So why it is very important to um, not focus on things that we can't offer to God, because it's more like there is no growth in that. There is only karmic karma involved in that. There is only birth death cycle in things that we do which are not aligned to God's path, which are not aligned to sattva. What will happen there? You will keep going in that karmic cycle, and there is no growth. Growth may be there, but it is happening because we may have to learn some lesson. There is a lot of ego where we can't surrender yet. So that also is being done through God only, because we have to learn a lesson. And we know it's bad. Many times we know it's bad, but we still do. Right? So, like that is how you interpret. For example, you know that you don't have to feel jealous. but you'll still feel jealous. You want to feel jealous. It's like you enjoy feeling jealous. But you know, somewhere inside, oh yeah, I don't think I should be jealous. I need to be happy for them. All that we know. But why do we still do it? Because there is still some lesson that is yet to be learned. And you can't, although we say, yeah, God, I offer this jealousy to you, to your feet, and then we move ahead, it'll eventually become true. It'll eventually, you'll start to detach, all that will happen. But aren't you sacrificing something there? Ego. You're sacrificing your ego. So wherever there is something negative, triggers, and all of those things that are happening through you, there is a scope of growth. But whatever good is already happening through you, you've already grown in that area. You've already done your sacrifice in the past, and that has sort of become like a habit, and it has already become your nature. But wherever the things that are still you are getting triggers and all of those things, right? Those you typically are not doing for God, because you don't say, oh, I'm feeling jealous for God, right? You can't do that. I'm feeling very angry because I love you, God, which is why I'm angry. It doesn't make sense. So here you should say that, oh, these are things that are still being done through me only. God is only making me do all these things, but not to give it to him or anything. It is mostly for my karma. And here I need to work on my sacrifice. There is room for sacrifice. What you'll sacrifice, which part of your ego you'll sacrifice, that I think we've already handled in the past class. Okay, so this is the main core of this subject, food. When we are able to understand this, we'll be able to see where we are going, how we are going, what is our general direction of path, all of that. So it's easy to constantly keep circulating in the same place. But somewhere we need to bring knowledge and do the right thing, because sacrifice is very essential. If you are not ready to sacrifice, then what is the difference between you and somebody who's at that level, higher level? For example, take your child. If you are not seeing a lot of sacrifice and the child wants everything, but you are saying, hey, we need to do sharing, all of that, you're teaching something higher, morals you're teaching. Why are you teaching? Because you are able to understand something that the child is probably trying to learn or something like that. There is some learning happening between both of you. Either way, what I'm trying to tell is, as we keep going higher, humility will actually increase a lot. When sattva increases, humility will actually increase a lot. When humility increases, the sense of me, mine, ego, all of that will reduce. The sense of I want this, I want that, all of that also will reduce. So there is no, for example, let's say if Brahma finishes off his term and then now he has to, let's say either he also got moksha or whatever happens to him, he will not even feel bad of leaving his post. That is his level of growth. Okay, that is where his level of sadhana is. He has done so much that he's not attached to his post. Are we not? We are all attached to our post. We are so attached to our post. For example, let's say you're doing some important activity in your house. Suddenly, you're doing some important activity in your house, but then suddenly somebody takes off that position. Then what will you feel? You'll say, huh, I was doing it right. Why are you taking up this position for me? Something like that. We are sort of still attached to many things. So in this growth of our lives, we have to become humble. We will become humble. We will become more detached, because we are learning detachment. No, through every acceptance, we are learning detachment. Every single time you work on your triggers and put attachment into place, you're learning to get detached with whatever you already had, whatever you called yours, whatever you like literally made, put so much of efforts to learn those habits, those belief systems. You're letting go of that. Yours only, you're letting go of that. Similarly, like this, every moment we are learning detachment. So as we keep going higher and higher, God will help us learn detachment, because if you have to service a lot of people, today at your level as a mother, you may be servicing a lot of people. But is your child servicing a lot of people? No. A child is only taking care of himself, maybe to some extent. But as a mother, you have evolved to take care of not just yourself, you've taken care of the family's needs and all that. And let's say if there is a grandfather, he, at least in the Indian context or in the Eastern context, they will have a lot more responsibilities to maybe inculcate some samskaram and all of that into the house. They'll tell, this is how we have to be, this is our practices that we will be following. They will share all of those things. So there is always, for example, even prime minister. Prime minister also has a lot of people with him, and then there is a chief minister. Chief minister also has a lot of people under him. The responsibility of a prime minister is far greater than the chief minister. And there is a MLA, MP. So like this, there are different people doing different things. So like that, we are also evolving to those kinds of levels, and our sattva is what is taking us higher and higher and higher. Okay. So now when we come to food, what are we basically running on? Rather we are alive because of that prana shakti that runs within us. Okay, that pran shakti that runs, the vayu that runs within us, the pran vayu that runs within us. And of course, there are other vayus like apan vayu, saman vayu, and all of those vayus which are doing different activities at a under vayu also. There are different devatas who are working, like all the air, different airs are working. Airs under airs also, the different people are working. So let's forget about that. But what I'm just trying to tell is the body needs the food. It needs fuel to, like petrol. It needs petrol to function. Let me call it 100% petrol. It needs 100% petrol to function. But what if there are so many people you may have seen who don't even eat, like sannyasis and all, who may not eat, but they're still very active and all of that. Some people do fasting during Jain festival, Jain thing, right? Many people do fasting. They have maybe they do go on water fasting or something like 10 days, 15 days and all of that. Or forget about them. There are so many people in our own history that we've seen that for thousands and thousands of years they did not eat. So if fuel is so important for us, food is so important for us, how is it that they are not eating, and how is it that we have to eat for survival? There are so many people who die of starvation in countries like Africa and all. We've heard people die of starvation. And why are some people dying of starvation, but some people, they are not starving, but they are actually hale and healthy. I mean, their body might look very frail and fragile, but they're still alive. So the body definitely needs the fuel, and we need the cooperation of all of these vayus and devatas and all to digest and do all of this work so that we can function. But if they are being given an instruction that no, she doesn't have to function like this, she has to function some other way because of her karmas or something, they will give us that requirement only. Then food also, you have got everything you've got on the table, but you eat, nothing will get digested. Some IBS or some issue, colon issue, some issue, stomach ulcer, something or the other is there. Then you have all the food in front of you, but you still can't eat. So there are so many factors that are necessary or is involved for this body to accept the food. Many people may have a great body, but they may not even have money to bring food on the table. So there are like, this is what is called karma. This is what is called how much do we deserve as per wherever we are in our level of consciousness, as per our level of growth, sadhana, what do we deserve? How much of our ego needs to learn from the karmas that we are yet to learn from? All of these things matters. So either way, what do we know? We know that we have to keep moving towards sattva. And we have to understand that I am not the one who's digesting anything. I may think that, oh yeah, I can eat anything and digest anything. It really doesn't work like that. We need to have that humility. We need to bend, surrender to God and say, God, you are the one who's actually doing it. And I'm aware if something is not working, I'm having fever, I'm having this, that. We should just say that, yeah, I'm having fever because of some karmic release that I need to do. Some at this time I'm supposed to suffer through some challenges. Yeah, it has come. Well, that is also your wish. I can see that. I can see that it is your wish. Let it, I will go through that with a lot of patience, a lot of acceptance, and with a lot of gratitude. Parallelly, let's say if I've been given the knowledge that, yeah, eat well, yeah, sorry, maybe drink some fluids at that time, rest and all of that, just do it. But those activities may not heal this. In some other class, I had told how we distribute when we do detoxing or something. How do we distribute? Like say, for example, if you're suffering from a very severe issue, now that is 100% karma, for example. Okay, karma points number 50. 50 points have to be uh, born, because that is a challenge. And body is suffering a lot because of this 50 points that needs to be born, experienced. But at that time, if you have the knowledge, if God gives you an opportunity, so many people don't get the opportunity. That is also because of karma. They don't get the opportunities. But maybe let's say somebody got the opportunities to go through, let's say, a natural healing process or medicine or detox or something or the other. What you're trying to do is, no, not medicine, because medicine is more taken for comfort. When we go through, let's say, a detox process where we are doing some fasting or doing some form of healing modalities, if we go through some natural healing modalities, we are actually putting our ego aside, sacrificing our ego, and then we are doing some certain things. Let's say they will ask you to, let's say, drink juices. Who likes drinking juices when there is idli and there is dosa and all of those things on the table? No, I don't like to eat. I want to eat. Even if I have fever, I want to eat idli, dosa, and all of that. But yeah, that fever and other things have come because of the karma that we have. Now, how do you offset that? By going through some fasting methods, which is sacrificing the ego's comforts. So then now what happened? 50 points were now distributed to food. But your ego is still suffering, no? It is still hard, but it is okay hard. This hard is okay. Rather than suffering in the body, to some extent, you're suffering your senses, pleasure of your senses. Okay, understood what I'm saying? So, which is why healing gets distributed and multiple such distributions. Let's say you're doing chanting also. Okay, you're doing some chanting also. So, you're making your ego comfortable in three. It was uncomfortable in only one place. You distributed it to two places, two more places. So now 10% here, 20% here, and 20 more percent there. All the three will go on parallelly, and all the 50% basically gets extinguished very quickly. Ritu, can you please close the door? Back door. Okay. So this is how things happen. So when somebody has, let's say, health issues, cancer, or whatever, don't say that, oh, they had tobacco, oh, they ate a lot of this, that is why they got this. Those are belief systems. We don't know why karmically that person has got that problem. Okay, we don't know. All that this class is teaching us is, yes, there is some karmic baggage, and this person is going through that karmic baggage. What, why, when, how, it really does not matter. But what matters is, what can I do about it now? This is how I distribute it. I have to go through, I have to make up my mind and go through this challenge by sacrificing my ego in multiple different ways that I am aware of. You, because I will only be aware of wherever my comfort is. If I'm a foodie, then my comfort is definitely with my mouth, with my food. So that is a major chunk that I can actually sacrifice. At least by not, let's say, by if you're somebody is eating like 3 meals a day, you can maybe sacrifice one meal and say, okay, yeah, I'm not going to eat breakfast, I'm going to eat fruits from now. It's not going to be easy in the beginning, because the entire family will be eating dosa and all of that, and now you're like, oh, I have to eat apple, I have to eat a papaya, I have to eat banana. Initially it will be like that, but then you should understand, why am I doing this? I'm doing it for because how long will I keep eating, being comfortable, how long will I keep running behind my comforts? Sometime it has to end, no? Sometime I have to say, yeah, I need to grow. I need to outgrow whatever I've done. I can't be a child all the time. We'll be children or we'll be like animals. I should not say children. We'll be like animals as long as we keep doing the same things. So someday we have to outgrow the animal mentality and then start doing something that this human body is designed to do. Some opportunity has been given for this body. So we have to work for higher reasons. It is body, mind, everything is going to lead us. It's going to test us to our cravings and all of those things come, no? It is because we have to learn that are we strong enough to walk this path that we have chosen to sacrifice the ego? So we have to try, we have to keep trying. Some days we'll fall, some days we have to try. So this path to go towards a higher dimension, towards higher consciousness is not easy for everybody. It's a path that one has to consciously walk. Otherwise, nobody is saying that you can live like an animal only for such a small period of time. We can live like this for eternity. Suffering, our karma, let's say 50 points, suffer, 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 suffer. In the body itself, suffer, suffer, suffer. Yeah, knowledge came through all of these channels, knowledge came. Yeah, but I can't do it. I'm like this, I'm like that, whatever. And then we'll suffer. Let's say body also will collapse. And then again we'll get one more next life. Again, one more opportunity. It will keep going on and on and on and on like this. There is no end only to this. So when we have suffering, but ideas have not come to burn it, it means that we are still in that stage where burning or getting a relief for that, or even getting ideas to distribute it like that has not happened. It has not happened. That awareness is not given because that suffering was necessary. If that suffering, why that suffering was necessary? Because we've not learned. We've not learned to use that knowledge that was given. So for some reason, we are suffering. Let's say we can't do anything but accept. So that is why acceptance of whatever is happening to us is necessary, is very important. We can't fight it. Resistance is very, very bad. If we have resistance in our life, we will actually pull our problems like rubber band. So don't pull anything. So now coming to what are these foods? Now, many people eat non-veg, many people eat vegetarian, many people eat vegan food, many people eat only fruitarian food, many people are on juices. There are so many people who are on just prana. And when we talk about people who are just on prana shakti, doing tapas and all that in the forest, how are they surviving? Today, where is my prana shakti coming from? It's there. Some prana shakti is there. Okay. And I'm in a level of consciousness where although my pran shakti is there, that I'm in a denser state. Okay, I'm in that denser state or denser level of consciousness where that energy has to also, rather, there has to be some fuel, a fuel that has to be put inside my body for it to burn. Imagine like we have one petrol gadi and then eventually it becomes an electric gadi and then eventually it becomes a Pushpak Viman, which is just flying on air. It has to eventually take that path of evolution. Initially, we need petrol, we need diesel, and all of those things. So we need something to put inside the body for it to burn. But as we keep sacrificing our sensual pleasures and keep going ahead, keep going ahead, keep going ahead, not just food wise, we are sacrificing our sensual pleasures in other areas of our life also through triggers and acceptance and all that part is anyway there. Okay, I'm just giving cages. As cages are melting, all of that happens, right? We become lighter and lighter in our consciousness, no? So higher and higher pran shakti flows through us. At that time, the kind of food that you eat, no, will start to reduce. And you may eat less and you may also choose higher quality foods, higher natural foods you may choose. Why did you choose that? Yeah, you can go, let's say you go and give a raw food to somebody who is literally working very hard in the slums or something like that. They may not accept it. For them, this is not even like food. They say, no, 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 give me some rice and sambar and all of those things. They will eat that. Or maybe some non-veg or something they'll eat. Why? Because that is their level of consciousness. They'll eventually evolve to a state where their mind is focused on God and their food became more refined and less, everything like that happened. And because at higher consciousness, the requirement of food is less because the Pran Shakti is already very high. So it has sort of compensated for the fuel. The fuel that was in the past available to the body was coming partially from pran Shakti, and partially it was coming from the all this fuel that was coming from outside, that is food. But now, as people become lighter and lighter and lighter, the kind of foods that they choose will be different, more sattvic in nature, more subtle in nature, and more natural, more towards nature and all of that. And then they also will be getting a lot more from prana himself. The pran vayu will be higher and higher in the higher states of consciousness, which is why they'll be able to survive. Which is why they are able to survive. So without, you can't live that life in this level of consciousness. Okay, you can't live like this when you actually need food. Because if you do what they are doing here, it takes time for you to get here. Okay, I hope that is understood. So just because there is somebody doing, somebody in the forest who's basically chanting for 8 hours and maybe sitting and meditating and all that, he's not just sitting and meditating. His mind has become so much still. Because why did the mind become still? Because he has already finished all his cages and all of that. He has finished that work. He has done his work, and he has reduced the cages. He has become lighter, and then he was able to go there naturally. It's a natural progressive state to go to that state. And there he doesn't have any, he's not sitting there and thinking about what is my wife cooking, what is my children doing, did they come home, I wish he has got his appraisal, sorry, promotion. They're not sitting there and thinking about their parents, and they are not, they don't have any attachment anymore. So which is why they have gone to that level, and they're doing all these things. All that they're focused on, yeah, I want God, that's all. And what happens to their body, they don't know. So at that level, the kind of sadhana they are doing is very severe. And if they have done it right, then the amount of pran shakti that flows is far higher than what we are. How do we know that their pran shakti is higher? For example, how do you know that your pran shakti is lower? Let's say you become tired very quickly. The It's like the body, um what is it called? I think it's called aging only. It's not called exactly aging, it's called death. Okay, the body, even when we become tired, right? In the Shastras, they call it death only. They don't call it, yeah, body is tired. Because nobody is guaranteeing you another day, no? Nobody, there is no concept of future. There's no today we think that tomorrow I'll do this. But in Shastras, in all of these teachings, right, there is no concept of tomorrow. Because nobody is guaranteeing that tomorrow. We don't know when, who's going to die, no? So because of that, what they say is, you're approaching death. Even when you become tired, they say because pran shakti is lower, you're actually approaching death only, they say. So if anybody is feeling very, very tired and all of that, it means that that is the level of pran shakti that they have. And slowly, slowly it depletes. As we age, it sort of depletes. Even you can't compare yourself to a maybe 10-year-old boy who's like constantly jumping everywhere. We may not be like that. Even when you take the athlete, he may still be less than a child who is basically all the time active. There will always, he may have practiced everything in the gym and all of that. He may be a very strong athlete. I'm sorry, there's a construction going on. Are you getting disturbed because of that? No, no. Okay.
No.
So we age faster when we eat foods that burn a lot of this pran shakti. That is very important because it is it is being burned, or it is being used. It is being used up. When do we actually use it? When we use this is burning faster when we do things that are related to ego. When I told you, right, we are sacrificing, we need to sacrifice. Opportunity for sacrifice is higher because God wishes us to do. He is doing that work through us. He's probably he's making us eat non-veg, all that is there. But then Pran Shakti is going faster there because we ate because of ego. But when we do selfless action, when we are offering it to God, not for my pleasure, I'm eating this for you so that you are happy. More like that, let's say it's a genuine feeling. It's not just Nam Kavasi, yeah, I'm just saying, God, I'm offering this to you because it's a ritual, blah, blah, blah. It's not like that. It's more of, it's actually coming from the heart. It's a true, genuine feeling means there is no karma, there is no, you are not penalized for that. That is selfless action. There is no karma involved in that, which is why we have to focus on making the every single action, every single choice of food that we have something that we can do for God. Then what will happen? Your pran shakti doesn't get burned so easily. You have this vehicle for a longer time. You are consciously taking decisions where you are thinking that every moment I have to do things, or I'm intending to do things which are for God only. It's not like, okay, so I just sit and chant for 1 hour, then I got bored, now I'm going to sit and watch Netflix. It's not like that. Today we are all like that. Today we say, yeah, morning I'll finish off all my puja. After that, yeah, I'm going to sit and gossip with family, or I'm going to sit and something or the other, or maybe I'm going to fight with somebody. Something or the other we keep doing. As of now, we are in that level. But whole day, if I'm consciously thinking of God and trying to, let's say, focus all my activities, and because what we are doing in as a jivatma in this body where everybody is working for their own, they are working as per their instructions. All these devatas are working as per their instructions given to them. What can you do but to just watch them and then just have the right intentions and say, God, hopefully, not hopefully, God, please give me the right buddhi to, let's say, work on this whole day for you. All that you can ask is that much. Whether it actually happens, whether it doesn't happen, it's not in your hands. We will definitely, if you have asked, God, whole day, let me keep thinking about you, let me work for you, in all my activities, let me do this for you. You can only intend that. Yeah, even if your desire is being granted, he will still make you go through all this acceptance journey, burn the triggers of, sorry, go through triggers and all that, because we need to become lighter because of our cages, right? So we will have to go through that journey. It's not magical like this. So either way, what I'm trying to tell is, let our food choices be such that we can offer it to God and eat it. As per as per your level of consciousness, if you a tribal person, let's say if his thing is meat only, because he doesn't know any about any other food and he doesn't have exposure to, let's say, any knowledge, blah blah. For him, that is only food. If that is his level of consciousness, he will cut it. He will only offer it to God also, and he will eat it. So that, but whatever killing that he did there, no, will eventually have to be, what do you say, borne by him when he gets the level of consciousness. When he gets the right level of consciousness, he will go through a little bit of suffering that the animal went through. He may not know, why am I going through the suffering? He may not know. But at some point, whatever the suffering that animal went through, this person will go through, because he has now the level of consciousness, the level of courage, the level of acceptance to go through that act that he did. Why? Because at that time he thought, yeah, I need to do that and I need to eat it. So ego was a lot more involved. So wherever ego is involved, we need to pay back. That is the whole journey all about. So the choice of foods, wherever you are, think, can I offer this food to him and then eat it? Because who are all consuming? You are just offering the food, okay? But even the taste that you're getting is because somebody worked behind the scene to give you taste. Remember that. You are only an observer, but you are getting the feeling of experience because there are other people who are working behind the scenes in your senses, and they are doing that work. That is why you got the taste. Otherwise, for example, let's say you have cold, okay, the nasal passage has now is blocked with mucus. Your taste buds will function because your mouth doesn't have mucus or anything. So let's say you eat food, you'll only get taste of, let's say, saltiness, some sweetness, some spiciness you'll get, but that overall combination of feeling the food, the taste, you'll not get. You'll say that it feels bland, I don't feel like eating, it's not actually, that taste is not sitting properly. What does that mean? It is because that combination, the combination of all of these things is coming from the nose. It's called olfactory something. Okay, it what the brain does at some point behind where this and this meets, there is some let's say sensors that actually nerves that basically take both this information and then it takes it to the brain and there it is interpreted. Somebody is doing this work only, no? Now, if the nose part is fully with mucus and all, taste is working, taste buds are fully functional, but you won't get that taste. So, what we must clearly understand that we are not at all in control of anything because there is somebody working behind the scenes and we are not getting something, we are getting something because of our karma. All that we can do is intend, be willing to sacrifice. See, if you are willing to sacrifice, no, who will make you do all that? They only. Okay, those devtas only will make you do. That is the whole point. See, you are only intending to walk a certain path. And how much you're willing to walk a certain path, they will test you. Because they have to work, no? Based on your instructions, based on your direction. And God will give you that thought process to walk in a certain path. But how much are you willing to walk in that path? Depends on how much that karma is there. Karma means that baggage is there. If the baggage is very heavy, then the ego won't let you walk that path. Ego is not bent enough to walk that path. So they will make us bend by making us, let's say, go in some odd directions. And that also they only make us do. God only makes us do. So just think that if something is not working for you, it is because I need to learn to bend there. I need to learn to sacrifice my ego there. All of that you have to understand at a subtle level. Okay, we will never get instruction, we'll never get an understanding of why me, why am I going through all this? No, you'll not get that answer. Don't even ask that question. Yeah, something is there. If God has given me the awareness to find out where all I can sacrifice and then patiently keep doing that, and then somewhere it will all balance out. Somewhere it will all finish. The quota will finish. At that time, just be grateful that you had that awareness to basically burn that karma. So coming to food, when you take non-vegetarian food, we are in a level of awareness or level of consciousness where we are evolving from an animal what do you say, animal yoni to a human yoni. So when we are at the level of animals, we kill each other and we eat. So which is why as we become spiritual or something in any spiritual journey, nobody talks about eating non-veg. Yeah, there are animal sacrifices and all given, but there was a subtle meaning there. Why did that practice even start? Somewhere they said that we are going to sacrifice our animalistic ego in the journey, and maybe somebody started saying, okay, yeah, let's kill an animal, and then we will remember that okay, we'll have to sacrifice our animal ego. And but the animal killing itself became a huge thing, but then people forgot that they were actually working on themselves. Even today, when Ayudha Puja and all come, they may not kill an animal, but they'll still break that red color pumpkin. They'll put kumkum inside the pumpkin, they'll inject kumkum inside the pumpkin, and then they'll break it. Or they'll break lemon. Something or the other. It's an act of remembering that I am going to kill my animalistic mentality. And that animalistic mentality means that either snatching, taking, anger, some form of desire, all are Arishad Vargas, Kama, Krodha. Kama means desire. Krodha means anger. Lobha, we have all of this greediness. Greediness, we have a lot of greediness. Actually, we won't realize that we have greediness, but we still do. Sometimes when we accumulate for the next day, for this entire week, let me accumulate vegetables. We are actually greedy, but it has sort of become such a normal. right? Accumulating things for this entire week has become very normal in our life. Even I do that, right? I can proudly say that my inventory planning is very good. So either way. So all this is greediness only. We are thinking that I want this also, I want that also. Yeah, let me make this. For this, I need to have this vegetable. For that, I need to have this vegetable. We all do that. It has become such a normal, right? And so greediness, mada is more of um, pride kind of thing. Then matsarya is more of what do you say, some lower form of jealousy. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Moha. Moha is also again delusion. Delusion about not knowing the fact, not knowing the truth about God, not knowing the truth about how to walk a path, those kind of things. When we have Moha, we are basically deluded and we don't know what to do. It's more like that. Lobha, I think all the six got covered. So, like this, we are sort of in this kind of 2 kilometers. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay. So we are in that kind of state. So when we are in that kind of state, our choice of foods also will be like that only. Those foods are going to come and serve us and give us triggers. Everything is here for triggers. Okay. Pose is here for triggers. No question about that at all. Even food is a trigger. So when they come and trigger within us, they'll trigger many of these animalistic mentalities and all of that. They'll trigger something or the other will keep getting triggered based on person to person. Their triggers will happen over a period of time. As they have finished that part of their journey, automatically they switch to higher foods, a different kind of food. Yeah, why did you, like, some children, you say, yeah, my child doesn't eat non-veg. Yeah, because why? She doesn't like to eat non-veg. Why? Yeah, you are born in a non-vegetarian family, but why are you not eating non-veg? No reason. She has no reason. The child is still very young. She doesn't have anything about child killing, all that. She doesn't have anything in her head. Nobody has fed her that thing also. But suddenly she doesn't like to eat. Why? Because she has finished. She has finished her journey of moving from, let's say she has finished her eating quota. She has learnt all that that trigger had to give her. Now she's moved on to some, let's say, other animal foods, maybe cow's milk. All of that is also another level of vegetarian. Actually, cow's milk and all is still, in the past, vegetarian was still only plant based, but these days vegetarian is also having dairy, but those days vegetarian did not have dairy. This concept of drinking cow's milk itself was not there. But at some point, you should remember that these Kauravas and Pandavas and all of those people, right? They used to eat meat. In those yugas, eating meat was actually normal. But in Kali Yuga, as per the Shastras, that became a rule that because the denseness is going to be very high, if you have to walk the path of spirituality, you can't be consuming these foods. And you can't be having, let's say, multiple wives. You can't be, those subtler concepts and all actually came in majorly because of this level of density that we will be in. We can't afford to be like them with their choices, because the level of density they had was far lesser than what we have. So our rules are completely different from their rules. So eventually the body became like that, mind became like that, overloads lots of all of these things. So food also plays a vital role because they are triggers. And if you are some food is calling you, just remember that there is definitely a trigger there. And if there is a trigger, there is also the scope of growth and opportunity to sacrifice some of these things. Because eating something is not, eating that trigger, eating that food or the trigger may not actually give you pleasure. Okay? May not actually give you pleasure, may not satisfy you. You'll eventually have to understand that this is a trigger and there is something within me which I need to accept as a belief system. So apply the process of acceptance. While if that food is available in front of you, then what will happen? You'll be eating it with detachment. Okay, it is not coming from a place of pleasure anymore. You are eating it from a place of detachment. That is okay. Because you're then again and again and again, there is no calling for that food. The triggers will actually slowly stop. You may not want to eat it again and again. It will take time, depending on where that baggage is, how much that baggage is. you will not be going into that food again and again and again. So practice of acceptance is very important. Although you may eat that food, you may not eat that food. It is based on how much how much is the level of ego work that is needed or whatever. But either way, that is the way it actually progresses over a period of time. Okay. So the more sattvic you become, the more sattvic your food choices are, the better is the energy that is saved in your body. Because now you are not eating it for pleasure all the time. Even at every level, we are eating it for pleasure. For example, even if you eat salads at some point in your life, you're eating it for pleasure only, because you may not have craving for samosas, but you're still eating salad for pleasure only. And maybe somebody is not going to eat salad for pleasure. That's it. Salad becomes a trigger. Let's say today salad is not your trigger. Tomorrow salad becomes a trigger. Like I said, belief systems from one point to another point, all that I told. No. So what is at whatever is your level of consciousness, find out where my triggers are, even when it comes to foods. Okay, that is at a higher level. That is the message of foods. So now, if you eat animal-based foods, animals will also go through their own karmic principle, karmic act. So which means you're telling that you give me something, and I'm going to depend on you for something, and then it also means that we are sharing our karma. You're depending on somebody to give something, and that food is coming. You're taking it as food, but we were not born to eat somebody else and then live. We were not born to eat anything, but let's say at this level we can't take somebody's body and then start consuming it, because it's a very what do you say, it is a you can't eat the carcass of another animal. We are also animals at that level. Some are yoni, we are higher what do you say, we are vertical animals, they are all horizontal animals. Either way, we can't eat the flesh of another animal and think that the pran shakti will actually be okay in our body. It doesn't work like that, because we are still eating for pleasure only. No. if, but does a tiger or lion eat for pleasure? No, they are not eating for pleasure. They eat all the raw animal, they just pounce on them and they go eat it. But what do we eat for? We eat for the masala, we eat for the taste. We are depending so much on this combination of our taste buds and the olfactory glands to give us that pleasure. Today, if that is taken away from us, nobody will want to eat that non-veg also. The same food. Why? Because there is this happening. The brain is getting interpreted. That is the, when some devata is actually working on, or something is working behind the screen to give us that experience. And someday they will not give us that experience, and one day that experience is not there. At that time, what will happen? They will only quit it. Why did you quit it? No, I don't feel like eating it anymore. It will come. It will come at some point. It will come. So our focus is to majorly work on our acceptance and keep dropping our cages, detaching from our cages as we keep walking this path. When you come to my own journey, I'll just explain using the example of my own journey. In my own journey, from what I know, I was never a non-vegetarian in this life. I'm sure in some past life I was a non-vegetarian. So now I became I was born in a vegetarian family with lots of, let's say, milk and other things coming from an animal. But over a period of time, and I used to have my karma share comes from because of cold and cough and all of that, respiratory issues. And I used to have all of those things over a period of time. I had. And then after that, what happened? I had some diseases and some, let's say, major setbacks in my life. And just to work on those things, the kind of POSs I got were get off dairy products. And I was nearly on my deathbed, so that was my only sort of choice. And I came off vegetarian and then I became a vegan. And then I did not really have an ethical mentality towards that. But over a period of time, the ethical mentality came. And because of, let's say, some people telling and me knowing, that exposure came. And then I walked that path also. And over a period of time, started eating fruits, vegetables, greens, because that exposure happened. Why did that exposure to raw happen in 2017, and although my journey started in 2012? Because that is when I became ready for maybe a better level of food, a better, let's say, a natural, more natural foods. Until then, I was on majorly cooked food only. But why did I become only in 2017? That is when maybe some karma points aligned or whatever, and I got it. Today, I don't even eat a lot of grains. Grains are not my staple foods anymore. Staple foods are only fruits, vegetables, and greens and juices and all of those things. They are my staple foods. Maybe once in a way, I might have some grains, and typically rice is not at all there on a daily basis. It is mostly some greens or some sprouts or something or the other. How if somebody listens to me when they're already eating 3 times cooked food, and if somebody listens to me, they think that I'm too extreme. But I didn't become extreme like this because of my own choice. I didn't become like this because I decided to be like this. It did not. If I've decided to be like this, then I'll definitely not be able to sustain it. But it just happened over many 15 years. I've been like this. So after 15 years, slowly, little bit, transition happened, and I've come till here. So it is a journey. Food is also a journey because food also sustains us. And you can't rush this process. At the same time, you have to keep applying the knowledge and work on this. So typically, as a plant-based practitioner, in my journey, when I'm working with people, even today, if people, let's say, come to me with diseases and all of that and ask me to help, first thing when I see that when they say I have disease, let's say cancer, for example, I think that there is some karmic baggage that both of us have. And when I'm helping her, I'm healing part of myself. When I am willing to work with her, being patient with her, spending my time with her on a daily basis, I'm actually, I may do many things in my daily life. I can do so many things. I can just give them some gyan and then just say, yeah, just keep following this. And I can just leave it. But then why is there this thing that, okay, tell me what you're going through. Tell me are you okay? Are you not okay? So it is a level of, let's say, putting myself in that uncomfortable state, because we don't want to constantly be engaged with somebody. But then if you do that as a level of service, then your ego is also learning to be more humble. So that is how we we are doing some sacrifice of time when we spend, when we give the attention to somebody, constant attention to somebody, at least for some time, for a person who is coming as a pose. Because what do people really need from you? They don't need your money, they don't need anything, they just need your time and attention. And if you're able to give that to somebody genuinely and give them the knowledge that you have and help them heal the way they want, I can't heal them. They are healing themselves. But if you're giving them the right kind of guidance, then you are healing a part of yourself, because you are willing to let go of your own ego. So, like this, I work in my own cases, in my client cases. And typically, I'm putting them on juices, especially if it's a very severe case. Why am I putting them on juices or something else? Because they are not yet there where Pran Shakti is completely, I mean, they are not here where Pran Shakti is actually sustaining them. So, there has to be some food that they have to live on, like fuel, which is also saving a lot of energy and not used in digestion. So what will happen? I mean, for me, it is only juice because that is liquid food. And when they are living on liquid foods, like for many times people live on that for almost a year, and they are not just consuming 1 liter or 2 liters, they are consuming 5 to 6 liters also on a daily basis. Literally, they are flooded, and the body heals. And is it just this that is healing? No, this is only providing for some saved energy, which would have otherwise been gone in digestion of food. But now she's getting, let's say they are getting everything that the body needs. Now, what will they do with that saved energy? Body might use it for digestion, body might use it for healing the body. But then how is the mind is very important to heal the body. The mind is constantly in anxiety, fear, blah, blah, blah. Means, do you think all that saved energy will be used for healing? No, it will not be used for healing. The mind has to be aligned. The mind is like a project manager. If the project manager has the right set of directions, his clarity, his vision, everything is right, then the project will go in the right direction. So if the mind is not, if the mind thinks that what I'm eating, drinking is a threat to me, then the body will never heal. Even if you are on the best foods, body will never heal. So the mind has to be aligned. So how will the mind get aligned? Again, same process. Put the mind to God. Send the mind to always to keep to God. How do you keep the mind to God? Again, chanting, gratitude practice. I mean, they do a lot more because the habit was not there. That is why they went to cancer. That is why the karma is showing up so much, right? So then, if they are convinced, then they are actually walking a tougher path compared to many people who are not going through cancer. It's an opportunity. It's like a big jump for them to learn some practices because some crucial karmic situation has come in their life which bent their ego to that great extent so that they are willing to walk this path. I mean, when a person doesn't have such a problem, can they walk this path? I put you on juices. Will they agree? No, they say, yeah, it's so, yeah, I can eat idli. No, they'll eat idli. I mean, even if I know that is the best, cleanest thing, I personally also cannot do it. Why? Because my mind is not ready. Because my mind does not think that I need it. So there is so much that needs to be aligned for one person to walk that path, and imagine how much of discipline that they're learning in this journey. But so it was their sole choice. They are anyway doing it. And many people heal also. They heal depending on how much the mind was surrendered, how much the ego was surrendered. That is what is a key thing in this whole thing. You got the energy saved, but then everything that you are saving is now being used for surrendering. Okay, it is being used for surrendering. Okay, so this is very important. And here, when it comes to foods, juices, in my opinion, are some of the foods that actually have the highest quantum of energy. Why? Because they don't have any solids inside them. They do have solids, but a lot of microsolids, color, which have color, maybe something under the microscope, definitely there is something, but you may not be able to see it too much. Maybe if you do it via a juicer, to some extent, something is there. Okay? But not, no. I'll get it. So definitely under a microscope, something is there, but definitely not with respect to solids. So you'll end up saving a lot of energy because 85% of the energy is used for digestion. Okay. So there you end up saving, but then what will you do with all that saved energy? Yeah, will you go and watch Netflix? Will you go and watch, do gossip with somebody, be angry on somebody? If you keep doing all that, then it's gone. All that energy is gone. All that saved energy will be used somewhere. It will be gone. So if you work, typically when we do Ekadashi fasting and all of that, if people do fasting, they are also asked to take up activities which are focused on God. It is not supposed to just be, yeah, I save here, I sacrifice my ego here, but then what will you do after that? You have to do something else, no, to put that saved energy somewhere else. You have to channel the mind somewhere. Mind cannot be blank. You take away something from the mind without you giving something else to the mind, it won't be blank. Sorry, it won't be okay. That gap has to be filled by something else. Similarly, when you are giving juices and all of those things, then also you have to cultivate some daily spiritual activities, chanting, gratitude, maybe getting up early. If you're not able to get up early, or eventually gratitude and all of that will pick up. Our body starts to clean, be in gratitude, work on acceptance, say your prayers, be mindful. All of these activities definitely will one adds up somewhere. Juices are like that. Then next level is solids in the solid category. See, juices, because they are in the liquid domain, in the 5 elements, after solids, or Mother Earth comes liquid, which is water element. So juices are like the water element, which is available in nature from fruits, from vegetables, from greens. All the food is available in that. So it is a liquid medium. So in the liquid medium, the energy is far more higher. Okay, so that is why juices, which means you're saving a lot more energy when you are on juices, and it's also sustaining you. But it cannot become your 100% lifestyle unless you have a requirement, because over a period of time you're just misusing that opportunity that God has given. You can't misuse it unless you have a requirement to go through that journey. Okay, the 100% juice journey, you can't do that because your body may not be ready for that. Okay, so that is what I'm saying. So let's say fruits are very, very high in energy because they're all alive. And fruits also don't need insulin. For any food, typically what happens, they get broken down into glucose. And pancreas generates something called insulin. And that insulin is necessary to take that glucose in the blood to all the cells. But fruits have something called fructose. So this fructose does not need insulin. So they just can travel independently. So after the digestion and all is done, and when they are broken down and all that, these fruits can go directly into the bloodstream, and then they supply natural food to the body. And since they are not dead, all these foods are not dead. So what happens? They bring their own life force with them. And when they bring their own life force with them, the body does not use our life force to spend on the digestion and all of those things. And plus, it is something that the body understands. They're all made up of 5 elements. We are also made up of 5 elements. So the body understands. So the cleansing becomes far more easier. They accept it far more easily. So which is why fruits are also very nice, very useful for the body. And then comes vegetables. And after the in between fruits and vegetables, greens also are there, like palak, cucumber, coriander, all of those things are, sorry, not cucumber, coriander, curry leaves, all of those things, greens are there. Then you have vegetables. You can eat vegetables raw. What are the vegetables you can eat raw? Cucumber, tomato, then capsicum, then carrot you can eat raw, beetroot you can eat raw, then you can eat even snake gourd raw. You can grate the snake gourd and have. You can eat even the bottle gourd raw. You can again grate it and have. You can have all the vegetables raw. Brinjal I've not had raw. Then lady's finger also can be eaten raw. Okay, then you can even have yellow pumpkin also raw. But some vegetables may be very thick to chew. You may steam that a little bit and have. To some extent, that is okay. So live foods are having a lot more energy compared to cooked foods. In cooked, steamed vegetables, steamed pulses, all of those things they'll just keep coming down in energy. And when you come to grains and all of those things, they are far more denser compared to, let's say, an apple or an orange or fruits. They are far more denser compared to even a vegetable. So let's say a vegetable steamed may not be that heavy in terms of digestion compared to a grain, because grains are far more heavier. You need a lot more grains to fill up your stomach. You don't need a lot of chewing. It is more a pleasure food. But we need that pleasure foods when we are in that level of consciousness. But slowly, as the consciousness becomes higher and higher, pleasure foods will sort of reduce. And you'll start eating foods which may not give you that much of pleasure, but for whatever pleasure you need here, no, that will sort of match. But if you compare that with the person who's having, let's say, grains and all of those things, they'll be like, oh my God, are you fasting? But for you, you don't feel like fasting. For them, for them, it'll be like fasting. So there are different levels where as your consciousness keeps raising and all of that. Why? Because you kept like leaving your cages, detaching from your cages. Consciousness raises only when you detach from your cages. And detachment happens, let's say, all through acceptance, all that same story, which we have spoken in many classes. So this is how foods also come as a trigger. So imagine that food is like you went down into that level of consciousness, and there was a hotel, and you went into the hotel, and there the hotel people served you some food, because that was the only thing that was available in the hotel. They served you that food, and then you lived on that food. But as your consciousness grew, you may no longer go to that hotel. You'll go to some other hotel with some other food. At that time, you can't think that the older food, the older hotel food is bad. You can just say that I have outgrown that experience. I don't feel like eating it, but it came to me when I needed it. You'll still have to be grateful for that, because it'll help you learn some lessons. You may not eat it, but don't develop a hate towards any food that you are not eating anymore. Hating is not necessary, because we've gone through every single journey in our life. In their life, God is working through them, making them eat something. In your life, God is working through you, making you eat something. Whatever you feel like, whatever is coming to you, that is your food. But as you keep doing your sadhana, as you keep dropping your cages, your choice of foods will start to improve. Okay, so that is very important. Now, when you are I don't know typically what kind of questions you may have. If you all have any questions on food, maybe we can go in that direction, and then I can answer those.
Ma'am, what about
Smita,
Yeah. Who's talking?
I also started Anita here,
Okay. Tell me,
but
Anita.
somebody else also started. Okay, I'll say my question. Smita, sometimes I tried having just juices alone in the morning, but when I come to work, what happens is I feel like quite weak. I need some energy kind. I'm not getting the energy that I get from the carb, like idli or something, because sometimes I walk up and down when I come to work. So that time I feel a kind of weak, especially in my legs and all.
So
So
typically,
I
what happens? Yeah, typically what happens is initially, when even when I put people on, let's say, a detox routine or juices or something, they are actually having only juices for like 4 or 5 liters. It's not just 1 glass a day, 2 glasses a day, and all of that. You can't live on 2 glasses a day for breakfast, or 3 glasses a day for breakfast. It is actually a lot of liquids. And because the body,
I had
initially
1
also,
liter. That's all.
yeah,
One
okay, 1 liter.
liter.
It's okay. Keep having. Maybe you may have, instead of eating 4 idlis, you'll probably have 2 idlis.
Yes, that time
But initially, that
after that,
hunger will be very high. Because what about all the past quota of you not nourishing your body at all? Right?
okay.
All of that will start to be addressed. Until body becomes stable, this hunger will keep continuing. Hunger continues. Craving will also continue. But at that time, if you have the mindset to, I'll give more juices, I'll give more fruits to it. Initially, you can
Mm.
eat like a like your eating habits will become huge when you're especially on raw and all of that. No, it will become huge.
Mm.
Slowly, they will stabilize.
Okay.
Slowly they will stabilize. Initially,
Yeah.
you can't, if where you're eating 4 idlis and getting satisfied, you may not be satisfied with a one single big bowl of fruits. You may have to have two big
Yes.
bowl of fruits. Suddenly you'll be like,
Okay.
oh, I just had 1 hour back, but why am I feeling so hungry again? Because body is now like a beggar who has not seen that kind of energy for a long time. So initially it will ask for more, ask for more, ask for more. Even when people are on juices, right, they'll be like very hungry for a few days. And they'll keep drinking. Even 6 liters they'll drink sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And then slowly that becomes stabilized.
Mm.
It will become stabilized. Over a
Okay.
period of time, it will stabilize. And then
Because
as we stabilize on this journey, if we are able to direct it towards God in many of our rituals and practices and all of those things, and we are also working on acceptance, we are dropping our cages, because as the food helps us become sattvic, because juices help us
mm.
become sattvic, fruits help us become sattvic, they're all alive. So they are assisting
Okay.
us in our journey. But it is not a lifestyle to keep the body alive. You should not think like that. It is helping me. I'm choosing these foods so that they can help me reduce all of the tamasic and rajasic state, so that they can help me become more sattvic, and I can direct that sattvikta that I have earned to something that I was not able to do earlier. It will help you channel. Then what will happen is more pran shakti will come inside you, and then the food will become even more subtler. The food choices will become even more subtle. It
So
is
now
it
I'm
is a
like
balance of
having.
you earn here, you put it here, because you put it here, again you'll be able to save here more, again that comes here, again. So it's more of a right
So I
partnership
can
thing.
gradually move towards having completely juices. Until then, I can reduce my idlis and then
No, but
have
why
juices also,
completely
like that.
juices? But you can't do completely juices unless you have a condition that really needs you to save so
Okay,
much of
okay,
energy.
okay. Okay, okay.
See, you can't do
Then
completely juices unless
yeah,
you
you
have
said
like
you have
sudden
a requirement.
requirement, not more than sudden requirement, some like really huge requirement,
Okay.
right? And what
Okay.
is that huge require? You can't see, some of this karma just cannot be burned so quickly, because your learning and grasping power may not be that huge.
So
Are
now
we
I'm
willing
comfortable.
to? You can't save more energy than what you're actually able to use, right? It's a balance. So
Ah,
we can't do this because we are doing it out of ego. You can just say, yeah, I'll do this. I'll start it slowly. Maybe the best thing that you can do is just do that 1 liter. Make your fruits your breakfast. Yeah, initially you may feel hungry. Carry 2 boxes of fruits. Maybe
okay.
idli, whatever you're having for breakfast, add that to lunch.
Okay.
Then let's say that you now you're not missing out on idlis also. Then you can have, if you're having dinner, instead of having two different, let's say rice meals, you can have maybe one small portion of thing with some salad in the afternoon. Then you can have whatever you were having, 2 meals, you can have 1 meal. So that way you gave room for adding more raw into your life, but you still did not miss out on your rice or your favorite foods. Slowly,
Okay.
slowly, that will actually clean up the body. Now, let's say in the process of doing all this, you get cold, you get cough, or you get a fever, or something or the other comes up. Those things, that saved energy is now cleaning up your body from some old energies that were piled up. That also we have to go through that with acceptance. At that time, what should you do? Let's say you now have a condition where like severely sneezing, cold, fever, all that is there. Now it's a time where you need all that energy to be help. All that energy has to go towards a healing process, because you're not able to function normally. Like you can't even get up from your bed. You're like, it's not like a business as usual. So at that time, switch to full juices. Let's say 3-4 liters of watermelon juice. Add some grapes or something like that. I'll give how juices can be made. So juices you can have. Then what will happen? Those toxins that were now ready to flush out will get flushed out. What are these toxins? They are all acids that we made from our ego choices. Our mind eventually translated it to body. Our mind, thoughts, all of that eventually got translated into the body, because those energies were not flowing. Now it is all piled up here and there, because some people might get cold, some people might get stomach pain, some people might get some hand pain, some people, it is a different variety. So it depends on what is our nature of accumulation. And it can call that just karma. Karma is like a huge word to encompass everything and anything that we've done in the past, which is coming from a place of ego. Like that we can say, because we can't really, I don't want to look for reasons, because we'll only build more cages. Let's say we accept it and move on. Yeah, I can own it. I'm owning it. I am responsible for it, and I will take ownership for it. I am moving forward. I'm not fighting it anymore. So that is what, any problem that we have is because of that only. So now we can apply the process of doing this distribution slowly, slowly. Don't be in a hurry. Slowly, slowly do it. And then you can always ask questions in the group, and then see how it works. And there is also a detailed food course, something called Holistic Buddha is something that me and my colleague did, a colleague in the sense my friend did. I can always share the link here. You can go through that. And
Yes,
there also
yes.
a lot more detail. I may have added a lot. I may not have been in the level of consciousness that I was now, I am now. So some part of it here, if you see hate here and there, as much as I remember, I was still trying to be in oneness only. But then if there is some amount of diversity that I'm showing, some amount of duality that I'm showing there, it is majorly whoever I am at that point. But uh, to some extent, there's a lot of how to heal is actually mentioned there. So either way, I'll talk about it here also, but it may not be that detailed because I did that for 40 days. And here we are probably only doing it for 1 or 2 days. Okay. So this is
Okay,
how
sure.
we work
Thank
on the
you.
healing. And there is no concept of acceptance. And all. I didn't speak about acceptance and all that. It is more of how do we heal? Yeah, you can go on juices, you can do this, you can do that. It was more like that. So first you see, am I functioning business as usual? Okay, I'm able to function normally. Then incorporate something slowly, raw on a daily basis. But when the body starts to clean you up, 1 day, 2 days, you may have the need. Let's say fever, 2 days. You may have the need to clean up. So all those days you can be on a lot of liquids, rest, physiological rest, body rest, all of that would save energy. And you forget about going to office that day if possible. And then body will do all the cleanup. And then now it will be ready for next accumulate. It will now pile up. See, as the energy gets saved, what body will do? It is going to accumulate all the toxins from here, there, and all that. But why did that happen? Why did that physical cleanup happen? Is because at some point before that, mental cleanup has actually happened, which means you did some acceptance, you detached from some cages, some feelings, some patterns, all that has already happened. But and then only it translates to you releasing from body. Body doesn't release until you release from your mind. Okay, some part that is here first has to be detached. Then only something that is here will equally get detached. Otherwise, we don't get physical diseases. Somewhere you would have done this unconsciously and it sort of happens. Okay, you got your answer?
Yeah. Thank you, Smita.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ma'am, myself and few of my friends, like we started fasting for 6 days. That
What
is
fasting means? What did you do?
like we didn't know anything about fasting at that point of time. 2018 we started, and just we went without having anything for 6 days. Just water with
Oh,
water.
water. Okay.
So like we could do it like for a couple of years, and then like we couldn't sustain that. And then like now I understood that we should not do continuously like that for 6 days, like go without food. So what's your opinion on this?
You left it for whom? That you should ask. Why did I choose this path? What was the intention behind that 6 days of not eating?
See, like we have a fast called Kandasashti, right, which is going to come up soon now, like the 6 day fast. Like it's supposed to cleanse the body, thereby like cleansing all the karmas. Like very powerful time to cleanse your karmas. So to cleanse our karmas, basically I did that for like I was going through something which I thought like might get cleansed because of Lord Subramania's energy. So that was the reason I took up the fast.
Okay, did it help you?
Yeah, okay, things settle down, and then like sometimes it gets aggravated. Like I can't say like completely like yeah, but I do believe and trust. So like I continue now also, but I don't know how exactly, like whether I have to stay on juices, is it okay, or to have some
See,
fruits?
that's the thing, no? When we remove something from the vehicle that was supposed to so when we do it with our ego, this is ego only, no, because we don't know whether it is what are the implications, we don't know, we just left food. Why? Because somebody called it fasting. Yeah, it is, you love food, you like food, but then you did it for some exchange from God. You wanted something from God. You said, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you this, let's say, food sacrifice, and then you give me back something. So many times, such things when we do out of some benefit, for some benefit, we will get it also. To some extent, we will get it also. But whatever, let's say, points you earned, once that is over, you will go back to the same state. You will be back to square one. Why? Because it is like you earned some punya points because of this, but then once you get whatever, it was more like an exchange. You give me this, I'll give you this. But this will get over. Whatever you asked for will get over. Next what? You'll go back to the same problem because you never did it selflessly. See, when we do fasting for God, it doesn't mean God wants it. God doesn't want us to fast. He's already a Satchidanand state kind of person. Why will he want you to fast? He wants you to develop that selflessness. And I mean, it is like a love that a love that comes from deep respect for somebody. That is what is called, that is when you're willing to give something for him because you love it so much. It is more of dan, or that kind of thing means you love it so much, you want it so much, but you're willing to give up that for God because you love him so much. Okay, that is what is called fasting. No, whatever you don't want, if you're giving it to someone, that is not called fasting. So here, when you do it for a purpose, you may end up getting the purpose solved. But once that points are over, you will also get back that problem again. Which is why I don't make people do water fasting at all, because we are not ready for that level of consciousness. We do for so many reasons. We think that water fasting keeps our body clean. Yeah, but why work on the body? When we do juice fasting and all, see, this is my understanding. Okay, I'm not saying that somebody else making people do is wrong. I follow this principle. My understanding of this body is it's like a child. And I can't decide that I will take away something from you. How can you take away something from the body? By punishing it. Let's say a child did something. Will you take away food from her? Have you ever decided to do that? I'll punish you by not giving you rice. I'll punish you by not giving you lunch. Will you ever do that? If you don't do that, why would you do that to your body? But instead, I'm sure you would tell her that, okay, I'm going to sit with you, finish your homework. It's difficult for her to sit and do homework, but it's okay. I'm here with you. Sit and do homework. We'll finish it together. Yeah, she's struggling there, sitting and doing her homework. She doesn't want to sit, but you're giving her that moral support, and then you're sitting next to her and making her do homework. I'm just giving an example. Maybe anything else. Or let's say she went and hit somebody with a stone. So you're going and making her tell sorry to somebody. She doesn't want to tell sorry. But instead, there are other people who will say, I'm going to punish you for that. Go and stand in that corner. See, punishment should be more from a point of learning. God also gives us all of these challenges. And in the process, we are actually learning. We are not hating God in this. If there is definitely knowledge, we don't hate God from all of these challenges. So we can't punish the body by saying that I'm going to take away something from you, which is your fundamental existence, your fuel. I'm going to take away petrol from you or fuel from you, and then you should still function normally, okay? I'll still have to do house activities. I'll still have to take care of the kids. I'll still have to do whatever, but you should give me all that energy, okay? Is your expectation still the same, Renu? From the body, all the expectations are still the same, no? But or just because you are on water fasting, are you on bed?
Yeah, like I try to rest. I don't even cook. Like I try to rest and I try to chant as much as possible. But
Okay.
the mind, like it plays its own games. Like it tells me that you're very tired and all those things keep happening.
So typically, unless you may have done it, I'm not questioning you because you may have done it right. But typically, water fasting, you have to train your body to uh, to. I personally wish that a body has to clean up the cages and slowly get to that level. Why do we do Ekadashi or anything every 15 days? Is to give that one day, one day, one day, one day, and then slowly, slowly in that 15 days until the next Ekadashi comes, you should have actually done a lot of work to to drop a lot more cages that God has given you in those 15 days. If we have not done that work, but we are just taking one Ekadashi after one Ekadashi and just doing the same thing, same thing, same thing, it is just a ritual. But when we are able to understand the value of fasting, it means that we have genuinely developed that vairagya or that detachment towards that foods. Have we trained our body to get to that level so that nothing changes in the body if you don't give it food? Have you compensated that with enough pran shakti? So how can you take away something from the body by not giving it what it needs? You are understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you should have that much of sadhana's strength behind you to be able to compensate and say, I'm not going to take away anything from the body because body is not even yours in the first place. How can we decide to do that? So when we want to do that, no, God will make us do that because He wants to make us go through that journey so that there also we'll undergo karma only.
Mm.
We can't decide to do some of these things. It is a natural progression to a state where we are not feeling like eating anymore. We are not feeling like drinking anymore because we feel so full already. And I'm still so energized that I can actually sit and meditate on God, think about Him. And my mind is not even thinking about food. Maybe once in a while I'll feel my throat is thirsty and I'm going to drink some water. There are states where a person is like that. But when you are in the grihasthashram, when you have responsibilities, when you have so many triggers, when you have so many attachments in your life, how can you think that you can actually go off directly to water? These are all practices that have been misused over a period of time. But then when you do it one day here, one day there, then and then do it also mindfully, you should remember that okay, this day I'm going to work because I've left all these things and this much of thing I'm going to do it for God, but you're not also harming your body. Prepare for that day's fast. How do you prepare for a day's, let's say you're going on water fasting on Ekadashi or something like that. Previous few days you'll be completely on juices and fruits and all of those things because all of those cleansing has already happened and body is not in a state where it is absolutely acidic. It still
Okay.
has a lot of energy from all of this natural foods that came in, and there is so much of pile up of pran shakti that has been saved because of the past few days of what do you say, lighter foods that you've had. Then all that saving is going to help you sit and do water fasting maybe for 1 or 2 days.
Mm.
When it is done for ego, no, we can do it out of willpower, but there will never be that kind of takeaway. The true takeaway or true growth will not come. But here, see, like I said, in Ravan's case, he was his willpower was so huge that he had meditated and done so many intense practices like this, and he had also got all those siddhis,
Mm.
but he had not developed detachment from ego, detachment to life in general, detachment to the worldly objects in general. He was not there yet. So, which is why these things that he got did not really help him apply the knowledge that he had. We have to naturally progress to a state where I don't feel like eating anything, I don't feel like drinking anything. Once in a way, if you're doing it for one day, prepare for 2-3 days in advance. Tell the body, I'm not gonna, what do you say, let you suffer because of my egoistic needs. We will save 2-3 days, we will save by doing again the same ego work only. We would have left our cooked food, we would have left our this, we would have left our that. So there is no, what do you say, harm that the body is going through because you are willing to go through this.
Okay.
Because we can't take away something from something we don't even know how they function. At least we can do is, if I'm taking away, what do you say, 10 points from you, if I'm planning to take away 10 points from you, I should be willing to say how I'm going to return those 10 points back, or give it, or make sure that you ensure that you give it plus 20, for let's say 10 already before you take away the 20. It is like you say, do you have 500 rupees change? I'm going to transfer 500 rupees via phone pay. Can you give me 500 rupees? It's more like that.
Okay.
You need to, that is why, that is where that sense of self-awareness comes. This body-mind interaction, the body-mind alignment is very important on this journey. We can't misuse the body in this journey. Yes, that deha dandane, all that is required, but we have to understand that you just cannot do it off, and then you'll become tired, and all of this fatigue and all of that is because we have not planned properly for that fasting.
Yeah, yeah.
So
On
before
6th
you do
day,
a 6-day fasting,
Ah.
ensure that at least you are, at least 2 months, you are on absolutely raw, full of juices and all of that.
okay.
And you won't actually, when you go through all this journey also, your body will start to clean up. Before you get to that state, your body will start to clean up. And it's
Hmm.
like you're fast forwarding your journey towards higher consciousness. No? So it will also bring you a lot of triggers faster, faster, faster. So lots of when we try to rush the process, there we have a lot of consequences also that we have to be willing to take.
Hmm.
Have I answered your question?
Yeah, I think like you're asking me to practice little bit of moderation and
Yes.
like
Yes. 6
if
days.
it's 6 days, then 4 days like some juices and raw foods, and then like 2 days of full fast, water fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
So
will be more.
try
Yeah.
that, because you're not taking away anything from the body. And typically when you go on juices and all that for the whole day, you have to drink at least 4 to 5 liters that day.
Okay.
You can't just be on 1 liter, 2 liter and just say, yeah, I'm enough. I'm feeling full. I don't feel like drinking. Appetite, proper hunger also won't be there. And it's like, imagine that when the body is absolutely dehydrated, when the ground is dehydrated, earth is dehydrated, and after such a long time, little bit was coming. But when the rain pours on that kind of earth, it can't absorb water. It will take a long time for the water also to be absorbed. That is a state when you have not gradually increased the hydration of the body. You can't even drink 4-5 liters, which is the
Yeah.
requirement of the body. You can't drink that much. Now, what will you do? This is where training. Let's say you have to train for water fast, and I say you have to do 4 days of this. What if you can't do this also? What if you train for that also? Then you'll go back few more steps. You'll say, okay, fine, let me start this. What if you're not able to do that also yet? Which means you have to train for that also. Understood what I'm saying? There is always a previous step. You can't go to 10th standard. You have to finish 9th standard, because there is some learning that you have to do in 9th. But what if you are trying to jump to 9th standard? You can't. You have to go to 8th standard. That is where that is why they say, right from even in the past, when people used to go to Vanprasthashram, it never happened in Grihasthashram. They had to slowly finish off all of their children, this, that, Grihasthashram, yeah, Everything is experienced, luxury, life, everything is experienced. And there they are willing, they get opportunities for a lot of poses, to do their dharmic activities, to do this, that, everything is over. Now they have nothing else left in life. Then slowly they'll move towards Banprastha. In there also, what they are doing is, instead of probably eating 3 meals a day, in the forest, they are eating maybe 1 meal a day. They are still eating a meal a day. But after that, when sannyas ashram comes, there they have done enough to basically quit foods itself. It is a gradual process. Okay, don't hurry this process. It's okay for one day. Maybe something some fasting day came or whatever, and you want to do that ritual. It's okay. If that is coming, try to plan it. But what I'm trying to tell you, even to do 4 liters of juice, you'll still need to go through that level of hydration in the body gradually to be able to get to that stage. So what I said is, which is what I told Anita, do 1 liter every single day. Drink 3 liters of water every single day. Up your hydration on a daily basis. Bring in that fruit meal every day as a breakfast. Don't do this one off, one off, one off. Make it a habit on a daily basis to gradually move to that path. As you start quitting some of the foods for breakfast, start quitting some of the foods for lunch, and then add a lot of salads. And I'm not saying like a snack, eat all of these. No, this has to be food. So which means, like I said, the mind, if you have removed X food from the mind, that much of X raw has to be given to the body. It is not snack, it is absolute food. So which means you will be eating a lot of fruits.
Okay.
And body may not be initially ready to eat a lot of fruits, right? That also needs practice. So you'll start with little, and then maybe you'll eat 1 idli. Then you'll slowly reduce that idli also. Initially, let's say 3 idlis, then you'll have fruits. Then slowly, this fruits will start to increase, and then that idli will slowly stop. It's again a progression. So when you start doing it now, slowly your body will be naturally ready to do that. So what I'm saying is, do it today. Do those practices today to get to a graduate level of that practice in future.
Okay.
Because then you are naturally progressing to that state. Okay?
But
That
on
is what I will
fasting
do.
days, I've noticed that I can't even drink much water.
Exactly,
Even
because
if
your
I
body
want
is absolutely dehydrated. And when people are doing water fasting, I tell them no less than 4 liters.
Okay.
4 to 5 liters you should be able to drink. When people go to these centers where they do water fasting, they are trained to, there at least they are in, what do you say? They are watched for their salts going down and all of those things. But either way, you should prepare the body to go there for that level of vairagya. Food is a requirement of fuel for us. If you're taking away that fuel, you should remember where you should be able to tell the body that I'm going to ensure that I leave so much of ego. I'll sacrifice so much of my ego and other connections, and wherever you're leaving the ego and cages and all of that, that my body naturally does not, naturally is saving so much of pran shakti from ego's drain. And then you have enough already before that. So it cannot go to that state, no, because it needs to be trained. We are creatures of habit. You can do anything out of willpower, but your mind wouldn't have learned. So which means if the mind is not aligned and it is just doing it for some one-off thing, you have not gained anything from that.
So there won't be any
We learn
spiritual.
because of habits, which is why I'm saying do it every single day. Start with drinking juices and water on that quantity every single day. And then food also, you'll have, let's say, 1 meal of fruits. Have salads with every cooked meal that you're having. If you're a non-vegetarian, quit non-veg. Slowly quit even all the animal fluids that you're having for pleasure. What do we have? Coffee, tea, all of that with cow's milk. We have it for pleasure only, no? And did the animal make its milk for us? No. There also we are giving up ego. All these are pleasure foods only, no, for us. Do we really think that we can live on these things? No, we are not living on these things. They are not our primary food. Can we drink milk and live on the whole for the whole day? No, we are not. We are not like that. But yeah, a good cup of coffee is like enjoyable. So switch that with plant milk, coconut milk, almond milk. Slowly make it black coffee, and then slowly go to ginger tea, tulsi tea, or some tea like that without milk. Now, one day you'll not feel like drinking that because your juices and other requirements went into the body, cleaned your craving and all of that. Because cravings are also some part of karma. All of that would have gone. And now you don't feel like drinking anything except juices. So it's a gradual transition. So first, hydrate the body. Do whatever you're doing, whatever fasting you want to do, fast every single day. But don't make the body suffer. See, when you switch idli with fruits, you're not making the body suffer, but in fact, you're actually improving the body's needs. Sorry, giving the body what it needs more. In fact, its absorption capacity is far more higher, and it will love you for what you're giving. So these we have to do every single day, and it's very important to do this. That we fast on something or the other every single day. But people never did that, so that's why we have fasting days. Because somewhere that elders have to tell us, hey, you have to remember that fasting is necessary. Otherwise, we will never do any of these things. We will just be in merry. But the elders wanted us to think about God someday. So they will give all these days where energies are very high and all of that. But yeah, we don't have the lifestyle that they had, no? They had it on a daily basis. In fact, you think about people who have got all these take I think Hanuman's mother, Anjani. She did tapasya for 12 years. And if you take any of these saints mothers, they have done a lot of work. Krishna's parents, to get God as their parent, God as their son, they have done tapas for like so many years, which means tapas means they've actually not just sat like this and meditated. No, that does not mean that. It means they lived their daily life consciously, mindfully, by not engaging their ego and running behind what their ego ate. Even if they ate what they had to eat, what was available to them, they sacrificed. What do you say? Even if it was, let's say, very tasty, what will we do? We'll have another serving of food. Yeah, we may be full, but still we'll have another serving. Yeah, it was very tasty. Pa, I definitely want one more serving. But we are eating it for pleasure at that. So they don't do such things. They say, yeah, my stomach is, I think, half full, half is enough. I'm not going to eat anymore. They have done such kind of things for like not 1 year, 2 years, for 12 or 15 years, they have done such things. And then only they get people like that. If people have wanted higher, merit gods as their children, they had to go through that much to bear that child in their womb. And they have to be that much clean to be able to bear that high energy kid in their womb, no? So, which is what we are learning when we are going through this evolution process. We are learning to go through that path of meditation, sacrifice, vairagya, all of that we are doing. But we can't just do that overnight. These practices should be done every single day. So, prepare for that 6-day fast on a daily basis. But don't overdo it. Don't take away anything from the body unless you are willing to give it that compensation. Okay?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Got an
Okay.
idea. Thank you.
Any other question? I think we are at 4 already. I'll have to probably talk more on this topic, a lot more in detail. I'll come to that maybe next week. Any other questions? Okay, we'll stop here. And then in the next week, we'll sort of continue this. There is a lot more to share. It's a huge topic, actually. Okay. If you'll have any questions, send it in advance. Maybe we can get a direction to the talk. Okay. Yeah. Thank you to Supreme God. We thank you for your divine blessings, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. We thank you for your great, great blessings. Thank you. Do we have anything in the chat? Okay, nothing. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Take
Thank
care.
you,
Thank
I
you,
hope this
Smita.
session was useful. I don't know whether you all had any
Yes,
expectations.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
If you all have any questions, do ask, because I know this is a very lot of questions are there in this topic. And if the questions are there, it will help me get one direction to go to that. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.